Okay, welcome to part 4. I'm Hunter, and this is roof framing of our multi-part series of building a house in the Outer Banks. Here Alex, Cheche, and Lecho are working on step 1, the ridge wall. And the ridge wall is essentially the middle of the roof on this style home. It's not a conventional roof, so you have to build the middle wall first to be able to suspend your roof. So the guys are working here. Here they are on a time lapse, and let's go ahead and kick it off. All right, step 2. Rafters. So what I've done here is I've already done all the math and figured out what our rafter needs to be spec'd to the plans perfectly. We've made sure the bird mouth is adequate and we have proper bearing for all of our code and hurricane restraints here. So you see all those rafter plaques that we put on earlier, these are H10 rafter ties. Now those are the slots of every rafter that we cut. We're going to go ahead and set them in there. So it's important that you had that layout done right, obviously, now so that you can put your rafter on. So the guys have popped a chalk line down there at the eave to have a perfectly straight soffit and fascia box. And here's Lecho going ahead and cutting each rafter to make sure that we have a laser arrow straight bottom of our roof to match this top. That is stunning, y'all. Look at that quality. So here the guys are working on the soffit and fascia trim. This is the lookout. A lot of people aren't necessarily doing it this way. This is just the way I learned to do it. It's more older style. Here is the fascia, and that thing is laser beamed. It looks like aliens built it. So here Lecho is making sure he's 16 on center, making sure he has perfectly straight lookouts here. And even though he's going to chalk a line, he's just taking the time to make sure everything's laid out good, because it's going to help further down the road again with the sheetrock, the insulation, and any trim we may be putting in the house. So he's going to go up to the ridge here where we've already set a 14.5 cantilever off our ridge beam. And he's going to go all the way down to Cheche here. And Cheche's going to say, I'm good. And they're going to pop that line and come back and cut to have a perfectly straight overhang here on our fly rafter. So hey, let me know out there what saws you guys use. We love the worm drive saws here. In the Outer Banks, not a lot of people use them, but we tried one maybe 7 years ago, and we've just been using them ever since. They're a little heavier, but they just chew through the wood. Anybody out there who maybe was thinking about trying one, I definitely would. A lot easier to get a straighter cut, and they're just workhorses. So there it is. That thing is super straight. And so I'm gonna go ahead and take the fly rafter here and send it up to them to scribe it on our fascia. And so they've scribed everything. I sent it up to them, and it's beautiful, as you can see. So the guys are gonna go ahead and finish off this gable wall, make sure everything is nailed correctly, put the plywood on it. It's important to put the plywood on now so that nothing shifts or changes once we put the plywood on the roof. And here we are working on part 3. Part 3 is going to be putting the plywood on the roof. We're making sure that we have everything staggered correctly. And right now the guys aren't focused on nailing anything. They're just putting enough nails to hold the board up there. I'm down below giving them all the purposeful and correct cuts. And then they're on to all the way up the top. And once they have everything up to the top, we're going to run chalk line. And that chalk line is going to tell everybody where the rafter is. And they're going to go ahead and nail that to the adequate schedule. Nails are really important here because this house will be exposed to very high winds. Day 2, I've already done the math and figured out what is the perfect rafter for the boys to cut. Philly is here on the job. Here he is cutting the lookout rafter, lead ends. So this rafter is going to be at the end of the wall, and it has these blocks, these fly rafter notches cut out of them so that our 2x4 support can run back into the roof system. It makes for a very strong overhang and collectively makes the entire roof a lot stronger rather than doing the ladder style. So here Cheche is, and Philly's going to go ahead and pass him up that board, and that's going to be the end of our wall. So the details are super important on this roof. So as you can see, there's quite a few notches that need to be cut to make sure that we have the perfect overhang and that we have a very level and flat soffit box coming out of this beautiful roof ridge that will extend up into the sky. So we're basically treating this like trim, because we want to make sure that when you look at it through any vantage point from the ground or up top, that it's just extending into the sky, very modern and sharp. So Philly's a great job of cutting everything out right now with this template, and here the guys are working on the soffit and fascia on the other side of the roof. Wow, that came together amazing, and I just love the way that wood looks against that blue Outer Banks sky. So Philly's getting the guys in line here, telling them to speed up, and Lecho's up top saying, hey, calm down, I'm making everything perfect up here. So we always poke fun at each other and have a good time whenever we're working together. Here we have our chalk lines up top, and that's just gonna again give us a perfect ridge and eave that's just gonna shoot into the skyline and look amazing against that blue Outer Banks sky. So you can see the notches out of the let-in rafter there. That's gonna allow our 2x4 blocking to extend out and hold our sub fascia. So everything's good there. So I went ahead and cut the gable on the smaller portion, and Philly's installing that. Wow, look at those C-cuts. Everything looks amazing on this house. We've taken the time and care to make sure all the details are correct, because this is a smaller house, and again, how we do anything is how we do everything. So rinse and repeat on the plywood up top as everything comes together down below. And it is quite the sight. Because we use the chalk lines, you can see all the roof lines are just distinctly flat and sharp all throughout the house. And these are the details that mostly only a builder sees, but again, we want somebody to look back on this product and wonder if aliens made it. And this is just the way we do things here in the Outer Banks. We take a tremendous amount of pride in everything, and we do stuff a little old school. Yeah, it might take a little bit longer, but ultimately we like to end the day and look back on our product and say, man, that's something really to be proud about, and wake up the next day feeling that same enrichment and continue that process. So that's it. We've cleaned up everything. Cheche's going around and cleaning up everything. Lecho's going around and tidying up all the nails where we may have missed some. And we're just making sure the site is perfectly clean and ready for the roof and the siding to be put on. And it's time to call the inspector and have him come and make sure that everything's good so that we can move forward in our process. Hey, if you're interested in doing any construction here in coastal Carolina, specifically the Outer Banks, we work all the way from Ocracoke to Corolla, and we have an extensive team of awesome subcontractors that can work collectively with us to deliver an amazing product like you see here. So I want you to stay tuned in this series on to part 5, roofing. Like and subscribe. Thanks, y'all.